I hope you're ready to dig through the trash with me because that is what we are doing today. Hello, my name is Megan and I love to journal. But amidst all of the writing that I like to use to document my life, I also love to include little bits of color, whether that's from stickers that I've collected or from little pieces of life, aka garbage, that I've saved. That's how I like to journal. That's how I like to document my life. I don't know if this is a shared experience, but I often find videos about journaling with ephemera to be rather unhelpful, because a lot of times the advice they give is to save your train tickets, save your restaurant coasters, save your museum tickets and pamphlets, and those are all wonderful, beautiful things to save in journals, but quite frankly, that's not something that I'm encountering most days. Like, of course, if I get a beautifully designed museum ticket, that's going to be my instinct, is to save it because those are inherently beautiful. But the majority of my days are more likely to include things like, boxes of brownie mix, instruction manuals, Cheez-It boxes, things that might not be something that you would immediately be gravitating toward when you're thinking about creating a journaling spread that is beautiful. So when I encounter people talking about how, I could never do a journaling spread like that, I don't have access to the materials that so-and-so has, so it's not going to be Pinterest worthy, I don't have any beautiful trash lying around, I don't know, I get sad about it because in reality, this is what most people's lives look like. We're not traveling to exotic places all the time. We're not just being handed beautifully designed things to tuck into our journals very often. So today I just wanted to go through my process a little bit of how I find and collect ephemera. And I'll go through a few different categories according to what your budget might be for journaling, how much you're willing to invest. A lot of this is absolutely free. Some of it is, $1 or $2. And then some of it may be, up to $20, $30 if you are looking to invest in designed and curated stickers and you're just not sure how to dive in. Like, where do you even start with starting a sticker and ephemera collection? So let us get started. My number one source of ephemera, my ride or die, is garbage. I love to look for the beauty in the little bits of your real, everyday, actual life. I think for those of us who might look for creative inspiration on Pinterest or Instagram can easily get this idea that other people just happen upon beautiful things more often, that other people get beautiful tickets and food wrappers and creatively designed pamphlets that are just perfect, primed and ready to stick in a journal and be done. And you know what? Maybe people who have made their entire livelihood from designing beautiful spreads and sharing them, maybe they do encounter these beautifully designed pieces of trash all the time. That's not me. I am usually just hanging out at home, munching snacks. So that is what a lot of this trash is. So I am going to scooch this over a little bit, and we're just going to dig through this pile and look for things that we can put on some of my pages. Probably the best way to find these little bits of life is to just stop and pay attention before you throw something in the trash. That is the bedrock of all creativity, is just paying attention. Whether you are a visual artist, a painter, if you are a writer, if you are a journaler, the foundation of being creative is to just pay attention to what's around you. Now, that is a little bit harder when you're in the middle of, say, cooking and you're trying to clean up and you're just throwing things in the trash. So something else that I will do a lot is to just wait and then dig through the recycle bin. Anything in the recycle bin really shouldn't have any food waste on it because it has to be clean in order to be processed. So a lot of this stuff I just dug around in my recycle bin a little while ago and pulled out anything that looked like it might have something interesting on it. I'm looking for things like food packaging or product packaging, instruction manuals, junk mail. Really anything that could end up in the recycling is fair game for me. So let's see what I've got. I'd cut off this outside bit of a Chips Ahoy cookie wrapper, and I went ahead, I have already cut out several little bits off of this that I think could be fun to put somewhere, like these little words that are in the background here. I think there's something we can do with this. I also pulled out this Reese's brownie mix that we made the other day. This is terrible news. These were some of the best brownies that I've ever had out of a box, so we are probably going to be getting more next week. But what I'm gonna look for, I think that could be good. I'm gonna look for things that, especially for my tiny journal, are just a small little moment, a small little design that I can cut out that is sort of isolated on its own. That's sort of just my style. If you prefer more of a like junk journal vibe, you are free to grab literally any part of this box, but this is sort of my process. Where am I gonna throw my trash? There we go. And something else that I like to do with my cardboard boxes, especially since they are so thick, I like to try and peel the cardboard backing off of it just so that they're not going to bulk up my journal so much and so that they don't make the pages stiff. So you do have to be careful or you will rip it like I just did. I think I'm still going to use this, but pulling off the back also makes it much easier to go in and do some fussy cutting. Not my best job cutting something out, but I think we can use it. I'll set that aside. Let's see if there's anything else on here. If I was working in a bigger book, I would maybe cut out the actual picture of the brownies. That would be cool to save. Reese's logo. Ooh, I kind of like this. I like the measurements and maybe the part of the instructions. Let's see what we can get out of that. But just using a bit of creative vision can help turn this pretty ugly box into some really cool little embellishments. And no shade to the designer of the box, because their job was to design packaging that would sell their product, and they most certainly did that because we bought it and we're probably gonna buy some more. But for the purposes of, say, a well-designed journal or scrapbook spread, it is not the most attractive as is. My hope is that this will inspire you, show you a few ways that you might be able to use trash that you have in your own house as embellishments, and just an assurance that what you have around you right now is already enough. You don't need anything fancy. You just need some creativity. I think that'll be kind of cute. We'll find a place to put that in a little bit. I think, ooh, actually, I really like this Betty Crocker logo here. Let's see if we can't get that. And one thing about cutting out all of your ephemera is it is a bit time consuming. But in my mind, that's sort of the point, right? Like, this is a hobby. This is what I'm doing for fun. So I'm really not in a rush to avoid, the fun part, which is collecting things. I might grab the cook time. I think that'll be the final thing that I grab from this box. Because honestly, I mean, I could pull so much from this. I could absolutely mutilate this box and take every tiny little bit of it, but I also have a whole pile of trash that I want to get through today. So let's move on to this can label that I peeled off of a can of refried beans before I threw it away. And I think there are a few things I could get off of this. This little seal here, I have cut one of these out before and put it in last year's journal. And I kind of loved how that turned out. So maybe I'll cut out just these little cans right here. Could cut out this little banner here. Could cut this out. There's so much potential here. Next I've got this instruction sheet. I had put up a new towel rack in our bathroom, and oh my gosh, I had a fight with this towel rack. We were having a time figuring this out. So I think I'm gonna cut this out to commemorate my fight with the DIY towel rack. I'll have to stick that somewhere. I like these little like tool symbols. I do a fair number of like around the house DIY projects. So some of these little tools might come in handy for documenting that. We've got a Cheez-It box. I try not to keep too many salty little snacks around the house, but a couple weeks ago, I was just feeling the Cheez-Its. I love this little circle here. The best part about this is I cook with cheese all the time, so this doesn't even need to be saved for documenting eating Cheez-Its, because I know I'm going to be eating cheese probably at lunch today, actually. All right, what else we got on here? Again, if I had a bigger journal, or if I really wanted to dive into very junk journal, ephemera heavy spreads, I could absolutely cut out this Cheez-It, or even these little cheese wedges here. Let's see. I could even cut out the like ink tester. I might do that. See if there's somewhere I could use that. It's kind of fun and abstract. And I think we'll move on from Cheez-It and go to our Townhouse crackers. I love Townhouse crackers. It's kind of a problem. It's like my go-to snack for if like it's getting late at night and I don't want to eat anything too big, so I just have a nice little handful of crackers. There we go. Got a little label of that. I kind of like this no artificial colors or flavors little seal. Kind of random, but kind of fun. I have no idea where I'll use it, but kind of like, it's such a unique color. We'll see where that fits in. What I'm really looking for when, oh, I love this little red window. Oh, hang on, we're gonna get that. What I'm looking for when I am picking what I'm gonna cut out, I think comes down to something that won't look like someone else designed it, I suppose is what I'm looking for. Because if you look at just the front of this box, it's clearly, designed by a product wrapper designer, and it's clearly not meant to serve the purpose that I am using it for. But if you go small enough, it's not immediately obvious that this is food packaging. Not that I want to keep it a secret, because I do want to be able to flip through my book and remember, oh my gosh, yeah, this little window has crackers as its framing. This was from when I was devouring Townhouse crackers all the time. But just bringing it small enough and neutral enough that I'm not noticing that first. I have to be reading my journal to get to the point where I see it and take note of what it is, so that it's not too overwhelming and so that it doesn't look like straight up garbage, which is exactly what it is. I forgot, I had saved a couple of pieces of junk mail because I found some stuff that I thought I could use. This is some flyer that was handed out for some sort of building work, but I thought this little gentleman was kind of fun. The like clip art that they picked for their flyer. So I might save him for like if we have work done around the house sometime, or maybe if I'm the one doing the work around the house. He looks so proud with his little drill. Like, this guy is just ready to do a project, and I think that's so fun. I know I'm doing projects all the time, so maybe our little guy will make an appearance soon. He's fun. And then a couple other things I grabbed. This is coupons for a local Central Indiana ice cream chain. We like to go occasionally, get a little pint. And you will probably see this pretty soon in my journal flip through, because we did go pretty recently. And I already had a cutout locked and loaded from one of the previous times that we had received one of these coupon books. So love that. I probably don't need the giant logo again, but I did notice that these coupons that I don't think we're going to use have the little logo real tiny, which I think would be great for my calendar pages. And then another page I had marked was this ad for the zoo. And I have a feeling I'm going to be going to the zoo somewhat soon. So I'm kind of thinking I might cut out this text to be a title for one of my pages. I am also always looking for great text art, which can sometimes be a little hard to find in these freebie magazines, because pretty much all of the words are sale and buy one get one free and give us money. But something like this, I think that'll be a fun page title. So now that we've dug through the pile of trash, here is what we've ended up with. I think I'm going to sort through these and find some places to glue some of this down, just to show how this turns from a pile of trash into some actually kind of cute accessories for my journal. So let me open up to my monthly page, because I think this ice cream label could go here, maybe that'll go like there. And as I'm sticking in some of these new little bits of ephemera that I've gathered, you can also see some of the things that I have been gathering throughout the month and just sticking in the book as I go, such as some stickers from an IKEA purchase. We got a new desk chair, and so I was peeling stickers off of all of the packaging, cutting out pictures from the instruction manual. I also have this giant label that was the label for one of the boxes. A lot of IKEA purchases come in multiple boxes. This is from a return address from a piece of mail that I got. I just cut off the little decorative piece. I have a sticker from some packaging from stationery that I had gotten. I don't even know what this is. This is some label for sure. A little rubber stamp that I had pulled off of some DIY packaging for some secondhand stuff that I had gotten. So lots of little bits that I had noticed at the time and collected, and then now I'm going in and filling in with just a few extra little fun things. So I will set these aside for now while I go over a few other places that you might be able to find things to decorate your journal with. And then we're going to finish out this spread so you can kind of get a glimpse of how this all comes together when I use all of these different pieces. So say you've been embellishing your journal for a little while with found ephemera, but you want a little bit more, you're ready to invest a handful of dollars, $2 to $3, into finding something a little more designed, a little more curated, but you're not ready to get a whole big sticker haul. The next source that I get a lot of ephemera from would be books and magazines. So these are all thrifted. These are all just things that I found for $1 or $2 at my local thrift store. We've got a dictionary. These are great because they're so full of pages. You're never gonna run out of this. And a lot of these have cute little illustrations by the definitions. So I will cut out a lot of times the full definition with a little illustration and use that as an embellishment. And there are plenty to choose from. A lot of them also come with an atlas in the back, which is great for travel journaling, travel planning or dreaming, or just general crafting. I love using one of these. There are also a lot of children's books. This one in particular, I had thrifted. It was very beat up. It was kind of not really worth keeping as a book. And so I have been digging around in here. As you can see, it's very cut out. But I will cut out some of these illustrations and use them as illustration in my journal. So, for example, you might notice that part of the title is missing on this title page because it is pasted into my journal. I love using word art from these. And as for the actual illustrations, those who have seen last year's journal, which there are plenty of videos on the channel of, will recognize some of these illustrations because they are what I used for my monthly cover pages each month. So every month in this particular Hobonichi Cousin journal, there is just a blank page to introduce the month. And I thought that was a perfect place to add in some of these illustrations, particularly because I love Winnie the Pooh. And so opening this up always just made me so happy. Here's my November, and then my December. And the great thing about using books is that if you get a really big book, it will be an almost endless source of ephemera because there are just so many illustrations, so many words. There's always something I could be cutting out of this. And then I also like to grab cookbooks or like craft books. This one is a dessert cookbook, so it's got all sorts of photos. I could cut one of these out for the brownies that we just made the other day. Lots of cute little pictures, and they certainly don't have to be directly related to something you did that day. I generally like to try and use pictures of things that represent that particular day, but I also have used them for backgrounds of some collaging. I did my Hear Me Out page. I used this cake from this cookbook as a little nod to the Hear Me Out cake. So I like to use this book quite a bit. And then I also love to use magazines. I keep most of my magazine clippings in this ephemera binder where I've got just some spare stickers. I've got pretty much any of this garbage that I would cut up but I don't use right away. I keep it in here. And I've sort of got them divided by category, but I've got my food clippings here. I've got some like home themed clippings here. I love the colors of old magazines. And so I like to try and incorporate these whenever I can. Let's see, I've got lots of florals. I've got this whole pocket full of florals from old magazines. And these are also super easy to thrift. Let's see, what else have I got? I know I've got like a seasonal page. I've got a whole pocket for people themed pages. And this is where I got an image that I used just recently, actually, for my wedding anniversary. I had cut out this picture of a bride from some article, and then the title of the article was Romantic Reminiscence. And I thought that was so perfect for our anniversary and reflecting on, being married for this long, and I just love how these magazine clippings look on the page. I've actually got a couple more back here that I want to use at some point for certain writing prompts. And most magazines and books, at least at my local thrift stores, cost around $1 or $2 each, and they're pretty much endless supplies of cool ephemera, especially because they are intentionally designed. They're made to be beautiful for sitting and reading, which is exactly the kind of purpose that my journal serves. So it's really great to have some photography and type work done by professional artists. So if you're looking for a little something to just brighten up your spread a little bit, that is a great option. And then that brings me to my third option for finding ephemera, which is buying them. Full price, buying stickers or washi tapes. So I thought I would give a little bit of insight into my approach as to how I gather things like stickers and washi tape and all the little things you buy, things you would find at a stationery shop. I think a lot of people, especially who are new to journaling, fall into this idea that, oh my gosh, I have to catch up. All of these people online have piles and piles of stickers, and I need to go ahead and buy 50 sticker packs just to keep up with what everyone else seems to have. And I would actually challenge that idea a bit. I have been slowly curating a collection of stickers. It's a pretty modest collection, but honestly, I prefer to keep it a bit smaller just so there are fewer options. I like to only flip through a few different books to get an idea of what stickers I have. And I like to start with something like a sticker book or a sticker pack. And I can show you a little bit of the few sticker collections that I have, and you can kind of see how far something like this can go. So this is a sticker book that I had asked for Christmas. That's actually where I get a lot of my stationery supplies, is I just keep a running list of the things that I've seen around, things that I'm interested in, and I try not to buy too many of them so that I can leave them on my Christmas or birthday list. And when something like that rolls around, then I have a very solid list of things I'm super excited to get, and then I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on stickers, which is a plus. So this is one of the antiquarian sticker books. I have seen these in indie bookstores. This one, the link that I had found to send to my family was on eBay. It's sold in a lot of online marketplaces, but I prefer to try and keep it to indie marketplaces, places where my money is going toward an individual rather than a large corporation. But this book has all sorts of little vintage style stickers that I just think they're so fun. You can start seeing just how many I have used in the 3 months I've had it so far. I love the little vintage touch that this adds to pages. And I can show you, I can point out some of the places in my journal where these show up, because I don't terribly want any of my spreads to be fully taken over by like that vintage vibe, but I do love a little touch here or there. I've got a dragon that I put on a day that we played D&D. We've got a little tea party going on here. I just love using just this little touch of vintage amongst all of my more modern or more pop style art. I had initially wanted to get more of the books in this series. There are actually quite a few. But after seeing how big this book is, I think this will keep me going for quite a while. So just a big old sticker book like this can take you a long way if you just want to invest in one or two. I also got off of eBay this Beanie Babies Collectors Club pack, which comes with all sorts of little posters and games, but mostly I was after these stickers that I had remembered from my childhood, and at some point I got rid of them. I don't know why I did. What a horrible mistake. But I have some now, and I have been using these like crazy. I love them so much. They're so nostalgic. They're so cute and cozy. And again, I was able to just pay a little bit to an eBay seller who had this laying around in their house. They got some money for their stuff. I got a whole pack of stickers that I'm going to be working through for a good while. So never underestimate the power of resale sites. Like, you'll probably find some on eBay, you'll find some on Depop, Poshmark, probably Facebook Marketplace, whatever resale sites that you're on, that is a great way as well to find, one, very unique stickers that you're not going to find in the store, but also maybe find a pretty good deal on them and support individual sellers. That is also where I got this American Girl book. I have been able to find quite a few of these DK sticker collections on eBay. This is the only one I've bought, but I'm keeping my eye out. I'm looking. And I love this American Girl set because I was absolutely an American Girl girly growing up. And so there are lots of nostalgic characters in here, but also it's really good for a lot of different occasions. We've got music theme, we've got science theme, hiking, beach stuff, a lunchbox, lots of animals, lots of different activities. I have been having so much fun flipping through this and finding all the ways that these different little stickers can relate to things I'm doing in my real life. These are especially great for these little calendar pages as well, because these are so tiny. But that would be my recommendation if you are feeling like you're way behind, you don't have very many stickers, you don't have all of the supplies that people who have been doing this for a really long time have collected up. Is just get yourself like 2 or 3 sticker books if you have the budget for that. It really doesn't have to be very pricey, but I also fully understand if you're not ready to really be investing anything into journaling, because truly journaling is free. You can sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and just write. That's all that journaling needs to be. But if you're wanting to get a little bit fancy with it, I love getting these sticker books and working through them. These sticker books, as well as my sort of loose stickers collection, are all I'm really flipping through when I'm looking for decorating my journal, as well as these Soutelier sticker sheets that I got from a seller on Etsy. I can link those if you're interested, but these were pretty affordable per sheet, all things considered. I've seen this same brand at stationery stores for significantly more in the US, so I was really happy to just load up on these. And these should most definitely last me through this whole book, especially for how many stickers I was able to get in one order compared to the number of stickers I'm using per spread. So I have been loving these for just little tiny embellishments. I keep them just tucked right in here. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just scraps and then a few stickers. So now that I have sort of flipped through all of my different options, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this calendar page. I'll use little bits of some of those things that we talked about so that you can see what a full spread ends up looking like with using just the things that I have on hand right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. And here is a look at the final spread. You can see I've added in a few extra little bits as I was going along. I have a bit from my American Girl sticker book. I have a bit from my vintage sticker book. A few more additional pieces of scrap that I tucked in here. and I think I'm going to call this done. You may have also seen me add in a bit of washi. I have a bit of a tape collection as well, most of which is, again, just from gifts that people have given me over the years. So I'll add just a sprinkle of that in there as well to fill out some of this extra white space. And with the rest of all these little scraps that I didn't end up using this time, I am going to slip those right into my ephemera binder, which if you are interested to see a bit more of and, see how I have been organizing my various pieces of ephemera, let me know. I am certainly happy to talk more about all this. We are just gonna slip into a pocket. Okay, that mess all cleaned up. Those are ready for next time I sit down to journal. I can pull those out and not have to dig through the trash maybe quite as much. So hopefully this gives a bit of insight and inspiration as to how to create a spread, how to decorate your journal without having to go out and, spend a whole bunch of money. You can use just whatever you have around you, or you can support your local craft suppliers, indie artists, people who make this art for you to specifically put into your projects. And if you are interested in seeing sort of a more detailed view as to what my pages are looking like as I work throughout the year, I already have several videos on my channel, and I will be filming very soon a flip through of the past few months and how those pages have sort of come together and how I'm preparing to enter into springtime in my journal. But in the meantime, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love that we can meet here and inspire each other as we work on our crafty little projects and work on documenting our lives on the page. And so, until next time, I will see you later.